In the following video, a man behind his camera in a school captures something incredibly strange while walking through what appears to be an old sports facility. He starts recording as a heavy door in front of him is slowly shutting on its own, creaking eerily as it moves. Take a look.
Esa puerta también. ¿Vieron? Dicen que mis videos son actuados, pero están viendo, no hay nada. ¿Vieron cómo se cerró la puerta? No soy el único que mira o escucha cosas. Pero bueno. Escucha. Eso fue acá. Uy, güey.
He carefully approaches the closing door, moving to an angle that allows him to start looking behind to see if maybe someone was there pulling it closed. But the space is completely empty. Nobody's around, no strings, no air vents strong enough to cause that movement. Curious, he decides to step through the door into the sports hall, beyond it. The moment he crosses the threshold, the door suddenly stops moving, freezing mid-shut, as if whatever was closing it just stopped. He pans the camera around the wide, empty hall, showing rows of benches and a faint echo from his own footsteps. But there's no sign of anyone else. The entire thing feels unsettlingly timed, almost like the door only moved until he entered the hall, then deliberately went still. A few days later, the same man decided to return to the school, determined to see if he could capture anything else unusual on camera. This time, he was crouched at the end of one of the long corridors, filming as he went to document the atmosphere of the place.
¡Oh, hijo de su puta madre! Y no hay nadie. Está cerrado. Vámonos de aquí.
Everything seems normal at first, as the lights hum faintly and the echo of his footsteps fill the hallway. But just as he starts to think nothing is going to happen this time, something strange happens at the far end. A large wheelie bin, which had been completely still, suddenly shifts a few inches on its own, rolling slightly across the floor before stopping again. There's no one near it, no airflow, and no reason for it to move at all. The man behind the camera is utterly shaken by what he just witnessed. The bin's subtle but deliberate movement adds another layer of mystery to the already unsettling activity he'd been documenting in this abandoned school, and who knows if he will ever return. In this next piece of footage, we're looking at security camera footage taken from inside a family home. The system detects movement in the dining room, and the homeowner's wife can be seen walking in before taking a seat at the table. What happens next is extremely hard to explain, so I'll let you watch it for yourself. The camera captures a series of loud bangs echoing throughout the room, though nothing seems to be falling or breaking. The noises suddenly stop, and the woman pulls out a chair, sitting down slowly at the table. What's unnerving is the way she sits. She sat with her arms laid flat across the surface, head bowed down, completely still. After a few seconds, the other chairs around her begin to shift on their own, sliding back as if invisible guests were taking their seats. Then one of the ornaments on the table slides across the surface, stopping right in front of her. A few moments later, a nearby door slams shut with a loud thud. The woman finally lifts her head slightly, breaking her stillness, and the clip cuts off abruptly, leaving viewers to wonder if she was ever really alone in that room. CCTV footage recorded at around 11 p.m. using a Wise camera set up in a living room captured something jaw-dropping. At first, nothing seems unusual as the footage is quiet, dimly lit, and the only movement comes from a few small orbs drifting near the camera lens. But 22 seconds in, things take a strange turn. On the left-hand side of the frame, just inside a doorway, something appears to peek out. It's quick but clear, the shape is small, almost childlike, and seems to lean forward before darting back out of sight. The house is supposed to be empty, yet there's definitely movement. A few seconds later, a lamp beside the door suddenly flickers to life on its own, illuminating the space where the figure appeared. The camera keeps rolling in silence after that, but nothing else moves. Many who've seen this footage believe it's some kind of spirit, especially considering no one else was home when it happened. Let me know what you think in the comments section though. The clip that I am going to expose you to shortly was recorded in pitch darkness with poor camera quality, relying entirely on night vision to capture what's happening. The footage begins with the man slowly walking toward a staircase, breathing heavily as he steadies the camera. What happens when he takes his first step up them is insane.
Okay, everybody, hold still for a second. Hello? Can you talk to us?
As soon as he steps onto the first stair, something faint but unmistakable moves in the background. A transparent figure gliding across behind a doorway at the top of the stairs. It's quick, almost ghost-like, fading out just as it comes into view. The man freezes and calls out hello into the silence, his voice echoing faintly through the hall. There's no response, no movement, nothing except for a few orbs drifting across the frame, floating gently past the camera lens before disappearing again. The eerie calm that follows makes the moment even more chilling, leaving it unclear whether he was truly alone in that house or not, disregarding his friend, of course. Val had been hearing strange noises coming from the basement for a few nights in a row and assumed it was just rats. Wanting to show her husband, who was at work, what was going on, she decided to grab her phone and film as she went downstairs to investigate. Little did she know that it wasn't really rats at all. The footage shows her carefully walking down the creaky basement steps, trembling slightly as she reaches the bottom. Everything seems quiet at first, until she stops ahead of an old wooden door. Faint scratching sounds can be heard coming from behind it, rhythmic and persistent, as if something is trying to get out. Val stays exactly where she is, when suddenly the door handle lets out a little movement. She gasps and stumbles back, the scratching growing louder for just a few seconds before abruptly stopping. The clip ends with her breathing heavily, unsure whether she'd just encountered rodents or something far worse. This piece of CCTV footage was recorded inside an employee's office long after work hours, and what it captures has left everyone who's seen it completely unsettled. The office had recently been renovated after a fire 2 years prior that destroyed part of the building, but ever since reopening, workers kept reporting odd experiences, such as objects falling from desks, faint whispers when nobody else was around, and even computers turning on by themselves. This clip shows one of those incidents caught on camera. In this particular recording, the room is empty and silent when a faint, transparent white wisp begins to move across the floor. It glides effortlessly across the room, twisting slightly, before rising and fading away into thin air. There's no glare from lights, no insects, and no reflections from outside, just a clear, ghostly shape that shouldn't have been there. After the footage surfaced, the office manager checked the building's security system and confirmed that no one had entered or left the building that night. Strangely, the motion sensors had only been triggered in that one room. Since then, a few employees have refused to work there alone, and it's now referred to by staff as the haunted office, the place where something from before the fire still lingers. An Amazon delivery driver named Leah was recording something strange she experienced while collecting packages from a local storage facility. She'd been doing this route for months with nothing out of the ordinary ever happening. But on this particular day, something inside the building didn't feel right from the moment she walked in, and this intuition proved itself correct.
These people think I'm crazy. Y'all, look at this shit. Just look. You see that shit? Y'all see that shit? Yo, watch this. Got it on camera. Thank God. What?
As she steps inside, the camera shows rows of storage lockers, most of them shut, except for some near the middle that are mysteriously hanging open. As she shouts to the camera, she closes them, along with a few others that had been left slightly ajar. Everything seems fine as she steps back, but then as she films from a short distance away, one of the lockers she had just closed creaks and slowly opens itself again. The metal door drags open all the way before stopping on its own, as if something invisible had pushed it from the inside. She didn't stick around to find out what it was. Can you spot what happens in this clip? A duo made up of a man and a woman decided to explore a haunted farmhouse that locals had long whispered about. They weren't casual thrill seekers either, because they came fully prepared with equipment, determined to capture anything unusual that might happen. The video caption explained that this was actually their return trip to the location, this time with a brand new camera they had just picked up. They admitted they hadn't even worked out all the settings yet, but promised their viewers that future uploads would include extremely clear footage and even night vision. As they started to set up for the night in front of the camera, something truly unsettling happened. For just a split second, a shadow figure appeared in the window directly behind them, before vanishing without a trace. It was so fast that many viewers missed it on the first watch, but when slowed down, the shape of a figure becomes clear. The fact that the pair had no idea what was happening behind them only added to the unease. With the promise of even clearer footage in their next investigations, this was only the beginning of what could be a chilling series. Megan was finally enjoying a quiet night to herself, house-sitting and catching up on a movie she had been meaning to watch for ages. She settled in with the TV, the lights low, and everything felt normal at first. Out of nowhere, a chilling voice broke through the speakers, saying, "Any way I can make you more comfortable?" Megan froze instantly, because not only was that voice not part of the opening scene, but when she restarted the movie, the line was completely gone. She checked, rewound, and even tried again, but the words were nowhere to be found. The incident shook her badly. What disturbed her the most wasn't just hearing the voice, but realizing it had come through so clearly, as if someone was right there in the room with her. She admitted afterward that she thought maybe it was a glitch at first, but the more she replayed the scene and compared it, the more impossible that explanation became. With no logical answer, Megan was left uneasy in a house that wasn't even her own, constantly glancing over her shoulder for the rest of the night. She later said she cut the movie short and kept every light on until morning, too unsettled to close her eyes. Even days later, she couldn't shake the feeling that the voice wasn't part of the film at all, but something else was trying to reach her. The Circus Siblings family on TikTok had been telling their followers for weeks that their home was haunted, but naturally, plenty of people demanded proof. So one evening, they decided to record a video to put all doubts to rest.
Joe, try it. See,
I will open that door.
Stop it, Bailey.
That doesn't work. It just does it when it does it. So it's not me.
Well, try it again.
It's not me.
Open the door.
Shut the door. Shut the door.
Open the door.
Oh, it's a ghost.
What?
Yeah, see, it's not me. It doesn't do it when I do it.
Open the door. Let's see. Oh, open that door.
Tristan, you really not fucking around?
Oh my God, it opened again. That wasn't
Holy
me.
shit.
I freaking want to hold the door closed. I
Shush.
the door open.
You can hear it click and everything. It's shut.
Why is it not open?
That's just a ghost.
Before anything started, the father made a point of jumping, slamming doors, and making big movements around the room to prove that what was about to happen wasn't caused by him. Once everyone settled down, the room grew quiet. Then one of the children, with a mix of bravery and curiosity, asked out loud for the ghost to open the door. For a few seconds, nothing happened, but suddenly the door creaked open just a crack on its own. Many viewers commented that this was the first clip that truly convinced them something strange was going on inside the Circus Siblings' home. It left their audience eager to see what they would capture next. For those of you that don't believe it, the family had more proof ready.
Shut the door, make sure it clicks.
This time, the Circus Siblings showed footage from a second camera they had set up inside the room. The angle captured the door from the other side perfectly. Then, just like before, the door slowly creaked open on its own. There was no one pushing, pulling, or even close enough to touch it. The family pointed out that setting up a second camera was the only way to silence the doubters, and sure enough, it made the whole situation even creepier. With two different perspectives showing the same unexplained movement, many viewers agreed there was no way this could be faked so easily. The Circus Siblings had managed to capture something genuinely eerie, and it raised even more questions about what was really haunting their home. Luan was lying in bed late at night, recording casually after days of feeling like something wasn't right in his room. He wanted to prove to himself that it was just his imagination, but instead, he caught something terrifying.
Ese ruido es del techo. No sé qué esté pasando, pero sí me siento nervioso. Vamos a ver. No inventes. Se abrió la puerta. Se abrió la puerta como la última vez. Déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo. Déjenme calmo. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Se abrió la de abajo, se abrió la de abajo. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Uy, otra vez. Es en esta zona. Yo no sé qué está pasando. Uy, los perros. Uy. Uy, los perros.
At first, the cupboard door creaked open by itself, which was enough to make him sit up. Seconds later, another door, this time another cupboard from the very same unit, suddenly opened itself without any human interaction and no visible force. Confused and visibly shaken, Lewin leaned forward to look around the room. That's when the most chilling part happened. The camera briefly captured an uncanny face flashing into frame for less than a second before vanishing. The clip was short, but extremely disturbing, leaving viewers replaying it over and over to confirm what they saw. Many agreed it was one of the scariest captures they'd come across, and Lewin himself admitted he had no explanation for what appeared in his room that night. A ghost hunter was exploring an old church late at night, armed only with his camera and a flashlight. The air inside was heavy, and the building was mostly dark with a small window radiating cool lighting. The atmosphere felt like something spooky was just around the corner. As he walked around the church bells suddenly began to ring, echoing through the empty halls. The sound alone was enough to raise the hair on his neck, but then something far worse happened. Around one of the stone corners, a face could be seen peeking out at him, watching silently. Summoning his courage, the ghost hunter moved quickly toward the corner, determined to confront whatever was there. But just as he reached it, the face slipped out of sight, and behind the pillar was nothing but darkness. With no explanation for what he had just witnessed, he was left shaken, convinced he had just come face to face with a ghost outside of the church. MC Devil 666 on TikTok had been warning his followers that a welly shelf in his home was haunted. According to him, the boots had been falling from it time and time again, but always when the camera wasn't rolling. When he told his wife about it, she laughed it off and teased him for being paranoid. Determined to prove himself right, he set up his phone and started recording, openly calling out to the ghost and asking it to push one of the wellies down.
No, hijo de su puta madre.
Sure enough, one of the boots suddenly tipped and fell from the shelf with nobody near it. Shocked but satisfied, he took the footage straight to his wife to prove he hadn't been imagining things. Instead of laughing this time, she went quiet, replaying the moment again and again before walking away unsettled. For MC Devil 666, this was all the proof he needed, but he admitted later that the incident put a serious strain on their relationship. He said he couldn't live with someone who dismissed what was happening in front of their eyes, so he decided to leave her behind. The welly shelf had done more than just confirm a haunting, it had ended his marriage. Lynn worked as an assistant teacher at a small school in Asia, where most days passed by quietly with lessons, laughter, and the usual chatter of children. One afternoon, she was sitting outside with some of the kids, enjoying the calm atmosphere, when something strange caught their attention.
Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo ang nagpamisa, roasting ko mga. Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo, Eustachio, Segundina, Rafaela, Serapia, Vicente, Juana, Tomas, Patricia, Yopalis, Nicolas.
One of the students pointed toward the distance, so Lynn lifted her phone and zoomed in to see what it was. To her shock, the camera revealed a pale face staring back. It was clearly not human, as the features resembled that of a female ghost. Unnerving and unnatural in every way. Not wanting to frighten the children, Lynn kept calm, said nothing, and guided their attention elsewhere. Later, though, she shared the footage on social media, where it quickly spread. People online debated what she had captured, but what's most surprising is that after this single chilling moment, nothing unusual ever happened at that school again. It was as if the ghost had made one brief appearance and then vanished, never to return. C's Crazy Crossroads, the ghost hunter with more than 50,000 subscribers, returned in another terrifying compilation from the same haunted property. He reintroduced the setting for new viewers, explaining that this was the infamous contractor's haunted house, a place he had already experienced some strange things in. This time, the activity was even harder to ignore.
I love it. After it's all said and done, I'm very happy when stuff happens, but in the moment, it's not fun. Oh, that son of a, that was me. All right, I don't know if you guys heard that. It was a huge, it sounded like a door shaking or something. As I was talking and man, what has gone on in here? What happened in this house? Maybe it's just the people that have passed on here don't want anybody coming in their house because it's been sitting for so long. Maybe they're still here. Listen, listen. It's right here. It's right here.
While filming, he suddenly heard loud knocking, followed by an unsettling series of shaking sounds from somewhere nearby. He ran straight toward the noise with his camera rolling, determined to catch the source, but when he got there, the rooms were completely empty. Just as he was about to settle down, another sound cut through the silence. The knocks returned, this time coming from above his head, as if something was moving around in the attic. With nobody else in the house and no explanation for what he was hearing, the tension was overwhelming. Fans of C's Crazy Crossroads agreed that this was one of his clearest captures yet, and many believe the haunted house is only beginning to reveal its secrets. Before the following video started to film, a woman began noticing something unsettling in her home, the distinct sound of footsteps going up and down her stairs at random times. At first, she thought it might be her house settling, or maybe a neighbor outside, but the pattern was too deliberate, too heavy to dismiss. Immediately, determined to find out what was causing it, she started filming.
I keep hearing somebody walk up and down my stairs, but there is obviously nobody there. There's nothing there. And it keeps coming up and down, up and down.
The sounds continued, loud and heavy, echoing through the stairwell as if someone invisible was running up and down. She called out a few times, but there was no response, no sign of movement other than the creaks beneath the unseen steps. The camera pans toward the stairs, clearly showing they're empty, yet the noises persist. Each step seems to press down hard, then stop, then start again. Her breathing grows uneasy as she realizes there's no logical explanation. Nobody else is home, no pets, no people, just those haunting footsteps stomping endlessly. The same woman, still shaken from the footsteps she'd heard days earlier, decided to keep her phone close just in case the noises returned. One evening, while relaxing in her living room, she began hearing something new. It was a deep, metallic scraping echoing from beneath her floor. It sounded slow, deliberate, and heavy, like something heavy and metal dragging across the floor. Take a look.
Guys, and if you hear it, this is exactly what I'm talking about. See, there's nothing out of place over here. There's nobody down here. I'm home alone. Like, there's nothing that should be making that noise. Nothing. I have no idea. This keeps happening. I'll hear this every now and again. But I do not want to be down here right now. I do not want to be down here. I just wanted to show you guys.
She made her way to the basement door, hesitating for a few seconds before opening it. As soon as she flicked the light switch on, the noise stopped completely. The basement fell silent, unnaturally so, as if whatever had been making the sound froze the moment she arrived. She stepped down the creaking steps and scanned the room, her eyes flickering everywhere, but everything was perfectly still. No pipes moving, no tools fallen over, no sign of life. She rushed back upstairs, locking the door behind her. Later, she said she would rather not enter the basement again, and there's no way you would either. Samantha was suddenly jolted awake at around 4 in the morning by strange noises echoing through her room. Still half asleep, but unnerved, she grabbed her phone, turned on the flashlight, and decided to start recording. Wanting people to see it live in case something truly happened, she began streaming on Facebook, a detail that would later prove the footage wasn't edited when it was re-uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, there's them up. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, fuck that shit. What the fuck? What's that? What's up there? What's them? What's that light? Oh, that's it's out of my charge. Please, it's off my charge. Oh, them up things fucking.
At first, everything seemed still, but a small orb drifted across the screen, faint but noticeable against the darkness. Samantha's breathing grew heavier as she whispered into the phone, mentioning what she saw. Just as she steadied her camera toward her wardrobe, a loud thud made her jump, signifying that something had fallen from the very top shelf with no visible cause. The stream immediately started being filled up with comments from people watching live, telling her to get out of the room. She panned the camera again, showing the fallen object on the floor, her voice trembling. In the aftermath, Samantha said she hadn't touched that shelf in weeks, and the item that fell was wedged firmly behind other boxes. Since that night, she's been too scared to sleep with the lights off, claiming the noises still return around the same time every morning. A Russian man had set out to explore what locals called an abandoned military bunker deep in the wilderness, a place rumored for years to be haunted by the spirits of those who never made it out. The entrance was a tunnel-like structure, half buried in dirt and stone, with air so still it felt untouched for decades.
Сейчас направляемся на поиски военной секретной заброшенной базы. Там, в лесу такие вот заброшки. Интересно сейчас найти эту базу. Так, идем. Она здесь здоровая, блин, эти дороги такие. Куча этих развилок. Будем направляться потихоньку. Вот, ребята, посмотрите. Подошли уже, нашли наконец-то эту военную секретную базу. Здесь никто не снимал еще, не лазил. И очень интересно самому и ребятам. Посмотрите, какие уже ангары. Так, очень опасно, чтобы не обвалилось. Пошли, ребята. Такие вот здания, помещения. Я думаю, достаем фонарик мой. Я взял. Все. О, смотрите, как классно светит. Ангар такой арочный. В лесу уже, видно, в земле заныканный. Такая вот была здесь военная база. Посмотрите, какой ангар, ребята. Вау, прикольно, что-то новенькое. И там много таких ангаров. Прикольно, ребята, давно не было у меня таких приключений. Типа сталка. Здесь, ребята, жутковато. Потому что здесь, блин, куча этих волков, зверей всяких. Подходим, идем дальше. Смотреть, что, как. Вот, ребята, еще такой вот бункер. Фу, территория очень большая. Здесь будет очень тяжело найти эти шахты. Так. Пошли. А вот здесь уже стрёмненько, ребята. Какие-то комнаты. Что это было? Ребята! Фу, валим! Фу, блин! Там что-то было в том бункере. Жесть просто. Фу. По-моему, кто-то стоит. Валим! Фу, ребята. Фу. Вот это я, блин, нагонялся. Стрёмненько. Такая вот секретная военная база. Еще, блин, кто-то там лазил.
As he stepped inside, his flashlight cut through the heavy darkness, revealing crumbling walls, rusted pipes, and piles of rubble scattered across the ground. He moved carefully through the first few tunnels, whispering his thoughts in Russian, his voice echoing faintly off the concrete. After several minutes, he finally reached an exit that led him back outside into the cold air, the light from the trees almost blinding compared to what he had just come from. But curiosity got the better of him. He made his way to another sector nearby, one even darker and more decayed than the first. The moment he stepped inside, the atmosphere changed instantly to something thicker and heavier. That's when it happened. From the corner of his light, a faint human figure began emerging from a doorway at the end of the hall. He froze for half a second before bolting out of the bunker, the camera shaking as he gasped for breath. Later, he swore he'd never return to that site again, convinced whatever he saw in that tunnel wasn't living. The following video has the context of a man sitting quietly at home when a series of loud bangs began echoing from his garage. At first, he thought it was the wind or maybe something falling from a shelf, but the sounds were too heavy, too deliberate. Grabbing his phone and a flashlight, he went to check it out.
What is that noise?
The moment he entered the garage, the banging grew louder, pounding in quick bursts that made the metal walls tremble. He followed the sound until he realized it wasn't coming from the floor or the walls, it was above him. The attic hatch in the ceiling was moving ever so slightly, the latch trembling as if something was pushing against it from the other side. He stood frozen, watching it shift just enough to make his heart race before the movement suddenly stopped. Gathering his nerve, he reached up and pulled the hatch down, the ladder unfolding with a creak that echoed through the quiet garage. Slowly, he climbed the steps, flashlight in hand, scanning the corners of the attic. Dust, insulation, and old boxes, nothing else. The place was completely empty, but what unsettled him most was the feeling that, even in the silence, something up there was still watching him from the dark. The following evening, as he walked up the path toward his house, every light inside suddenly flicked off at once. The blackout was so abrupt that he immediately pulled out his phone and began recording.
I was walking towards my house, and all the lights suddenly turned off inside. I don't know if my wife's home or not.
He unlocked the door cautiously and stepped inside, using his flashlight to cut through the thick darkness. His voice was tense as he narrated to us, but nobody else was there, and the house stayed eerily silent. Moving slowly from room to room, the beam of his light caught something swaying above the kitchen table, the ceiling light, still moving back and forth like someone had just brushed past it. He stepped closer, audibly getting nervous, but deep down he knew better. From the kitchen, he walked into the garage, hoping maybe his wife had come home early, but her car wasn't there. He was completely alone. That night he packed a small bag, and went to stay with a friend, saying he needed space from whatever was happening in that house. He later said he wasn't sure what his next move would be, but one thing was certain: he wouldn't be spending another night there until he had real answers. Late one night, a woman in her car started filming after her dog began whining uncontrollably at the window across the street. The animal's behavior was strange, with its ears pinned back, tail tucked, refusing to move. Curious and uneasy, she aimed her camera across the road toward the house opposite.
No, no es normal eso. Ahí paró. Correte. ¿Qué es lo que hace, no? Sí, porque no es que sube y baja así del...
Through the glass of a vibrantly lit upstairs window, something could be seen moving back and forth at an unnaturally fast pace. The figure's motion was erratic and too smooth to be human, gliding side to side in a blur that didn't match the lighting or the rhythm of a person walking. His dog clearly felt some sort of weird presence, and it was almost as if it could sense something he couldn't. Eventually, the figure finally stopped appearing, but it took way longer than expected. It was roughly 3 hours after the clip ended. To this day, he claims no one lives in that house anymore, and his dog still refuses to go near the window after dark. Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, is one of the most subscribed ghost hunters, and this is from his haunted theater experience, the one where so many strange encounters have already taken place. Still determined to uncover more evidence, he swept his camera slowly around the empty room, giving a full 360-degree view of the walls and the curtains that lined them.
Creepy. Ooh, this is one of the creepiest nights I've experienced so far. Mabel, are you still over here? she peeks up from those curtains, I'm out of here. That's it, I'm running. Oh man, just imagine.
As he zoomed in on one of the far curtains, the footage abruptly cut to another camera angle pointed at a stairway. This time, the shot had zero movement, no shaking. For a few seconds, nothing happened until a faint white mist began to descend the stairs, almost floating down step by step before fading near the bottom. The mist didn't behave like dust or light glare, and Ian himself confirmed there was no fog or smoke in the building that night. Whatever it was, it seemed to have its own form and direction. For those following Ian's journey through this haunted theater, this moment only deepens the mystery. Subscribe so you don't miss what he discovers next. The nursing home where she worked reception had always had a reputation in town, the kind of place people whispered about but never openly discussed. Residents would sometimes talk about seeing people in their rooms who weren't really there, and more than one nurse had quit after hearing voices in empty hallways. The building itself was old, with long corridors and dim lighting that seemed to swallow sound, and at night it carried an atmosphere that was almost unbearable. She'd gotten used to ignoring the strange things she heard during her shifts, but deep down she knew there was something wrong with the place.
Estaba haciendo en vivo aquí en el asilo de ancianos y se estaban escuchando muchos ruidos. Y mucha gente, cuando me acercaba a la silla de ruedas, notaba que algo se miraba, algo se escuchaba. Vamos a ver la silla de ruedas. No mames. ¿Viste eso? Cuando estaba haciéndole en vivo y yo me acercaba aquí a la silla de ruedas, se cortaba, se escuchaba mucho interferencia, se escuchaban voces. Vean esto, vean. No sé si miraste cómo se movió. Cuando estaba haciéndole en vivo y yo me acercaba aquí, se cortaba, se escuchaban demasiadas voces. A mí no me gustan las sillas de ruedas porque yo sé que ahí hay mucha energía. Pasos para allá. Ay. ¿Escuchan? Escucha que cerraron la puerta. No sé si escucharon la puerta. Pero aquí siempre hay actividad. Es la primera vez que veo una silla de ruedas aquí. Ponme un comentario si lograste mirar cómo se movió la silla de ruedas. Si es que viste.
In her recording, she explained that a wheelchair had been moving on its own, and as if to prove her point, it suddenly rolled backwards slowly into the middle of the hall. As the camera kept rolling, noises echoed down the corridor, unsettling and unexplainable. Moments later, a door at the far end slammed shut, even though nobody else was supposed to be on the floor. She admitted afterward that this was the first time she truly believed the stories the residents and staff had been whispering all along, and though she tried to finish her shift, she left that night shaken and swore she would never work another late shift again. Beerka and her husband had always been wary of one particular doll sitting on their shelf. a hand-me-down passed through the family that carried a strange history. It was originally gifted to her grandmother, but everyone who'd owned it since claimed it brought nothing but unease with odd noises, cold drafts, and the sensation of being watched. Bjerke had always laughed it off, keeping the doll tucked away among other decorations in their living room.
Kiss? It's not a kiss, Isa. Come on, kiss.
Oh well. She tries.
In one video, her husband was filming her as she played around with their pet bird, leaning in to kiss it and laughing while the camera caught the wholesome moment. What Bjerke didn't realize was that just behind her, the doll on the shelf shifted on its own, caught clearly in the frame. For extra proof, they later showed another clip of the doll, moving randomly at a different time, confirming it wasn't a coincidence. Shaken by the realization that the family heirloom might actually be cursed, Bjerke has already made plans to get rid of it entirely, convinced that keeping it any longer could put her and her family in danger. Ethan had been working at the sneaker store for a couple of years and loved every minute of it. The thrill of new releases, the energy of customers hunting for the latest drops, and the small joy of arranging the shelves just right made it more than just a job. It was a passion. Most evenings were quiet, giving him time to tidy up or just enjoy the calm after a busy day. One day, while the store was completely empty, Ethan was leaning against the counter scrolling through his phone when something caught his eye on the CCTV monitor. A sneaker on one of the higher shelves suddenly toppled to the floor, clattering loudly despite no one being inside. Startled, he sprinted into the storage room for a moment to collect himself, then cautiously returned to the spot. After a few deep breaths, he picked up the sneaker and carefully placed it back on the shelf, still shaken but trying to rationalize what had just happened. Despite the unsettling moment, Ethan's love for the job didn't waver, though he couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that lingered in the empty store. The story is easy to continue, leaving room for whatever strange encounter might happen next. The next morning, Ethan arrived at the store to begin his shift, still unsettled from the previous night. As he walked in, his eyes immediately landed on a crock lying on the floor, one that had definitely not been there when he locked up. Confused and slightly alarmed, he checked the CCTV footage from the night before. The video clearly showed the sneaker sliding off its shelf and hitting the floor, seemingly on its own, with no one else in the store. Unsure of what to do, Ethan reported the incident to his manager, explaining everything exactly as he saw it. We have no clue what happened after this interaction, but hopefully he got the help he deserves. Marty had been noticing strange things in his home for quite some time, mostly little oddities he couldn't explain. For weeks, the door to his bedroom seemed to move on its own, the handle twisting or rattling as if someone or something were trying to get in. One night, determined to finally capture it on camera, he grabbed his phone and started filming, moving around the room quickly to show that it was completely empty.
It's fucked up, look. I'm going to try and prove this time. I'm going to round the room as quick as I can and prove that no one is in this room. Oh, fucking hell, hang on. How the f explain that?
The door handle twisted and turned on its own, but when he stepped inside the room, there was absolutely nothing there. After reviewing the footage, Marty felt a mix of relief and unease. It was clear that whatever had been causing the door to move was real, or at least unexplainable by normal means. He started setting up extra cameras around the house to see if he could capture more activity, and kept a notebook to record the times and patterns of the occurrences. Friends and family were skeptical, but he insisted on documenting everything, hoping to eventually make sense of it. Despite the lingering fear, Marty became more cautious in his home, double-checking doors and windows, and even occasionally leaving a light on at night. The experience left him both fascinated and wary, knowing that the strange activity could return at any moment. Rosanna had been having a fairly quiet night, the kind where everything felt normal and predictable. That is, until she was woken by the sound of a baby crying. Groggy and confused, she got out of bed to check, only to find her laptop in the living room playing the crying sounds, something she hadn't opened or touched. What happened next was horrifying, so take a look.
Arrête. Arrête. Oh Dieu. C'est quoi?
Heart pounding, she followed the noise to the next room. That's when she saw it, a doll, hovering unnaturally in the air, staring at her. After locking eyes with it for a few tense seconds, the doll suddenly dropped to the floor. Shaken, Rosanna stepped into the room to get a closer look, but as soon as she did, the door slammed shut behind her, leaving her trapped in there for a moment. She later admitted that the experience left her rattled, and she began considering professional help to understand what was happening in her home. Ian is still in the abandoned theater that he has been in for several of my videos now, ghost hunting. The air felt colder than before, and the familiar creaks of the old building seemed amplified in the empty space. As he cautiously set down a still camera, a sudden mist appeared briefly on a chair, lingering just long enough to make him freeze. Moments later, another unexplained glow emerged from a different chair across the room, faint but unmistakable against the darkness. Finally, a drifting light seemed to leave the room entirely, moving toward the hall before fading out of view. Ian left the room shaken, but more determined than ever to uncover the truth behind its eerie occurrences. Dom was in his room late at night, just winding down after a long day. The house was quiet, too quiet, and he was just starting to relax when he noticed something strange. His bedroom door began opening and closing on its own. Hesitant but curious, he grabbed his camera and waited.
Guys, like, what the heck? I'm home alone right now. I'm literally like shaking right now. And my door keeps on moving by itself. There's like no windows open or nothing. And I'm definitely home alone. Like, what the, oh my, what the, hello? Hello? Is anybody in here? What in the heck? Hello? I swear you bet. Hello? You better not be pranking me right now. What the hell? Oh!
The door swung shut again, and Dom quickly got up to see what could be causing it. When he looked, nothing was there. Shaken, he turned back toward the hallway, but then another door down the hall slammed closed. Heart racing, he ran over and opened it, but to his dismay, the bathroom was empty. The house was silent once more, leaving Dom unsettled and unsure of what he had just witnessed. After this, Dom said he spent the rest of the night on edge, constantly checking the doors and considering calling a paranormal expert to figure out what might be haunting his home. The next day, Dom went about his routine, relieved that nothing else had happened. He passed it off as a one-time strange occurrence and tried to convince himself the house was normal. But that night, just as the clock struck midnight, he was jolted awake by a chill running through the room. In the dim moonlight, his camera captured a shadowy figure, half hidden, peeking out from his closet. Its shape was disturbingly human, yet something about it seemed wrong, demonic even. Fear rooted him to the spot for a moment, but adrenaline pushed him to get out of bed and check inside the closet. After it vanished back into the darkness, the space was empty, leaving him shaken and unsure of what he had just witnessed. After this terrifying encounter, Dom said he spent the rest of the night too scared to sleep, constantly glancing at the closet and considering reaching out to a paranormal expert. He admitted the experience left a lingering fear that his house was far from the safe haven it once was, and he began contemplating steps to protect himself from whatever unseen presence seemed to be haunting him. Rosanna was asleep one night, peacefully as ever, when she was abruptly woken by a series of loud, piercing screams that echoed through the house. Groggy and startled, she grabbed her camera to record what was happening.
Gizmo.
The screams were audible first, sharp and chilling, and then her bedroom door began opening on its own. Terrified, she quickly shut it, only for it to swing open again almost immediately. Hesitant but compelled, she stepped out of the room, and that's when something even stranger appeared. A small, black blur in the bottom right corner of the camera frame. The sight was sudden and inexplicable, causing her to stumble back into her room, unsure whether what she saw was a ghost or some other unseen force blocking her path. After this, Rosanna said she felt exhausted and unnerved, unsure if she would ever understand what had visited her that night, and that the experience left her shaken well into the next day. Mykolenko, one of the most skilled ghost hunters out there, had been doing this long enough to know when a location would be bad. This time, he was searching a dark, decrepit house, hoping to secure a payout from a client who wanted proof of paranormal activity. He already suspected the place was haunted, but he didn't expect just how intense it would get.
Резко свет. Все, батарея разряжена. Только включу.
As his camera rolled, a cupboard creaked open just an inch on its own, followed moments later by a cabinet swinging fully open with no one near it. Then, almost as if whatever was in the house was trying to stop him, the battery on his motion detector suddenly died, cutting short what felt like a major paranormal surge. Mykolenko left with undeniable evidence and once again, a satisfied client who paid him in full. Subscribe because Mykolenko will be appearing in future videos. Eiji and his wife were fast asleep when a series of strange noises jolted them awake. At first, they couldn't quite make out what they were hearing, but the more they listened, the more it became chilling. It sounded almost like demonic laughter, mixed with the faint cry of a baby.
Cobalah dicek. Apa? Kan ada apa-apa.
As the camera recorded, the unsettling noises continued before the carpet covering a lamp suddenly got launched away, sending the lamp crashing to the floor. The couple froze, unsure if they should run or investigate. In the aftermath, Eiji said they barely slept that night and have since been debating whether to bring in a paranormal investigator or simply leave the house altogether. They decided against getting an expert because their budget was too low, and for the next few days, nothing out of the ordinary happened. They thought they were safe, but when Eiji went to his boxing gym, things took a terrifying turn.
Udah nyala, Cok. Nggak ada orang.
While hitting the punching bag, he suddenly heard a piano playing from another building. He followed the sound and found the piano playing entirely on its own. As he searched for a possible explanation, a strange noise came from a nearby closet, eerily similar to the laugh from before, sending him running. They are now contacting a priest to deal with whatever is haunting them. Jeff was going about his usual day when he suddenly heard some clattering coming from his kitchen. Curious, he went to check it out, camera in hand.
Just sitting around here waiting for something to clean. Need something to clean. Anything over here? No, nothing in the sink there. How about over here? No, nothing there. Over here? No. People, need something to clean here. Let me take a closer look. Anything down here? No, nothing there. Alright, let me check over here. God, I'm bored! Something to clean, please!
His kitchen tap was moving on its own, twisting and swiveling like it was searching for something to clean. Instead of panicking, Jeff couldn't resist joking about it, narrating the tap with silly voice lines like, "I need something to clean," and mimicking its motions. The comedic energy seemed to affect the situation. After a few more moments of playful banter, the tap stopped moving entirely, as if the spirit had been amused enough to leave. Jeff laughed it off, but remained cautious, keeping a camera nearby in case the kitchen decided to get playful again. The light-hearted approach was enough to end the encounter without needing any outside help. The following video took place in the house of Tommy Wells, and it was terrifying to say the least. He had been experiencing paranormal activity for a period as long as a month at the time of this recording, and it really was beginning to get too much. The things that this spirit was doing could not be written off as torment. This stuff was torture, and the next few videos on this channel are going to prove that, starting with today's. He and his wife set up a camera late one night to see what they would be able to capture, because they had documented their hauntings on YouTube for a while now. Fortunately, the ghost was still happy to showcase its powers in front of a camera.
I'm so glad we went and got this camcorder.
Is it working good?
Yeah, it's working real good.
Good deal. You got good color and everything?
Oh yeah, I like it.
Good deal. Might be one of the best investments we ever made, man. Wish
Oh,
we had it in here earlier tonight when all that bullshit was fucking going on.
Yeah, I know, we could have got it on camcorder then.
Had been awesome as shit.
Yep.
Oh. About ready to turn in and hit the bed?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
It's about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the friggin' morning, probably.
God.
Look, listen.
What is that, baby?
Goddamn weed.
Oh shit.
God damn it. Hold on, Jerry, real quick. Watch out.
Okay.
I'll be straight back, man.
Okay. Oh shit.
What is it?
That noise.
Get out here with me. Come on. Jerry!
Where's Jerry?
Jerry! It's lights out. Get over here, man! Take it easy. What the fucking thing going on?
I don't know. I really don't know. What the hell was that? What was that?
That didn't sound like a damn pit bull got scared, okay? I was right there raising hell. Just come with me and see what. Who the hell's in here? I'll check on Jerry. Can't see these. Call him or something. Get him on the phone or something. Call him. He ain't over here yet.
This time, its most prominent showing was playing the piano, and you could tell it's been able to play this thing for years. Unfortunately, this was not the time for piano fun though, because it creeped the living hell out of the woman and Tommy. The most frightening part about all of this though, is that it is only the beginning and a long, treacherous night is ahead of them. Subscribe so you do not miss Tommy's future appearances on Haunter. Two sisters had set up a quiet game of chess in the living room, planning to spend the next hour or so laughing and competing against each other. The house was calm, there were no windows open, and nothing felt out of place. But halfway through the match, something caught their attention.
Lleva mucho rato en eso. Déjeme, yo grabo mi hija porque... ¿Jessie está venteando o esto está echado acá?
No, todo está echado.
Ay.
Vamos a mirar.
No.
Venga.
No, parce, no.
Behind one of them, a set of dangling ornaments began to sway and shake on their own, despite there being no draft in the room. At first, they tried to brush it off, but just as the atmosphere grew tense, a small table scraped forward with a loud noise, sliding slightly in their direction. Both froze in place, eyes wide, when suddenly the kitchen drawer in the background began to open on its own. Before they could even react, an entire cupboard burst open and a handful of pots and pans clattered violently to the floor. That was enough. The sisters abandoned the chess game and ran out of the room in fear. Neither had ever experienced anything like it before, and it left them shaken about staying in the house at all. This incident came from a security team monitoring CCTV in a car park late at night. Their job tended to be very boring, but little did they know that this one was going to be spiced up a little. Have a look.
See the white thing over there?
Yeah.
In the clip, a red Jeep was parked quietly among the other vehicles, when, without warning, the driver's side door creaked open on its own. No one entered or exited, and the surrounding area was completely empty. The security guards watching the feed were stunned, unable to explain how it could happen when the car park was locked down and quiet. After a long pause, the door slowly shut again, closing firmly as if someone had pulled it from the inside. Later, it was revealed that the Jeep was home to the death of a cat. While the guards didn't know this at the time, some who have seen the clip believe the strange activity might have been more than just a mechanical fault, and possibly the spirit of the animal making one last return. It was a stormy night, the kind where the wind itself seemed alive, howling so aggressively it bled into the entire recording. A man decided to explore a haunted house, one that had gained a reputation in the area for strange noises and shadowy figures. He walked through the hallways that looked like the back rooms, but at first, nothing out of the ordinary happened. The only sound was the wind whistling through broken windows, rattling everything in its path. After a while, though, a piercing noise echoed through the building that sounded like a siren, the kind installed years ago to detect movement inside. That was the moment his nerves started to shift. Later, when he reviewed his footage, the most chilling detail became clear. As he pointed his camera towards a far corner, a shadow figure leaned out briefly, as if to watch him, before slipping back out of sight. He was very fortunate he left the place after the alarm went off, or who knows what could have happened. Antonio had been home alone that night when he decided to head downstairs, his phone in hand. As he reached for the switch, the lights refused to turn on, leaving only the dim glow of his camera to cut through the darkness. He kept walking cautiously until he reached the dining room, where the table sat still and untouched. That's when it happened.
Tengo mucho miedo. Me quedé solo en la casa. Me han pasado cosas desde que vi ese maldito video. Escucho cosas. No hay luz. No sé qué hacer. Escucho muchas cosas. Ay, Dios, tengo miedo. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Quién está ahí?
One of the dining chairs scraped against the floor, pulling itself back slowly but deliberately, as if someone had pulled it. The sound echoed through the house, and Antonio froze in place, his breathing sharp and unsteady. The clip cuts shortly after, leaving viewers unsettled and speculating. If the chair could move with such force, what else might have been lurking in that house waiting for him? Who knows how much worse it might have gotten once the camera stopped recording. Dana had been on edge for weeks, convinced that something was off in her apartment. That night, she set her phone up while doing her makeup, determined to document what had been unsettling her.
Bueno, me puse a grabar porque estoy escuchando cosas. Entonces... el rímel. Me manché un poco. Uy, quedaron súper bonitas. Abajo también. No entiendo por qué. Mejor me hago rápido y yo me voy. Es que chicos, yo estoy sola. Voy a ir a ver. Voy a ir a ver. Sí, la verdad no sé. No sé por qué es así, pero bueno, voy a acabarme de hacer rápido, pero el pelo. Yo como que me voy así peinada porque la persona no sé.
As she brushed her hair back, the bangs and creaks she'd grown used to suddenly grew louder and more erratic, echoing through her place as if something invisible was pacing the walls. Just as she was about to laugh it off, she started to have a nosebleed, sending a wave of panic through her. She grabbed a tissue, went to the door, opening it to the dimly lit corridor outside. Nobody was there. The hall was empty and silent. Relieved but unnerved, she went back to do her makeup, only to see the lock on her front door start moving on its own accord. She opened it, revealing nothing but an empty hall once again. She is seriously considering moving out. Two police officers in Nayarit were on late-night patrol when they were dispatched to an elementary school after reports of strange disturbances in the area. It was 3 a.m., the streets silent, and the building was very dark from inside the gates. They parked their unit out front, one of them filming while they scanned the grounds for anything suspicious.
No manches, Así mira lo que estamos viendo nosotros ahorita a las 3 de la mañana.
For a brief moment, two small figures could be seen moving inside the school before quickly darting away, as though they knew they were being watched. To the officers, it appeared like children, but given the hour, the locked gates, and the emptiness of the grounds, that explanation didn't make sense. The figures were never identified, and both men later admitted they didn't believe they were dealing with real kids at all. Many believe what they saw were restless spirits, lingering within the walls of the school long after closing time. The following night, or more accurately at 2 o'clock in the morning on September 16th, the same officers returned to the elementary school, still unsettled by what they had seen the night before. This time, instead of staying in the safety of their patrol car, one of them stepped out into the cool night air and walked straight to the school's front gates.
Dale, güey, dale, vámonos, vámonos. Buenas noches, señores, buenas noches, señores. Aquí estamos grabando un videíto, otro video para todas las personas que dicen que quieren segunda parte del otro video. ¿Qué les podemos decir? Nosotros no afirmamos lo que se vio en el video, pero tampoco decimos que es falso, ¿verdad? Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la escuela por fuera, porque por dentro pues no podemos ingresar todavía, ¿verdad? Son casi las 2 de la mañana. Esta es la escuela. La escuela de aquí de Nayarit. Sí se ve el video, para que no empiecen a decir que vale madre la calidad del video, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela. Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la puerta donde se miraron lo que se miró. No quiero decir qué es lo que se miró. Es esta. Esta es la puerta. Ya está una lona que no sé qué quiere decir. Vamos a bajar. Ay, cabrón, la chingue. Ese es el cancel, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela por dentro. Son los salones. Vamos a darle la vuelta caminando, ¿verdad? Aquí está otra ventana. Esta es la escuela 16 de septiembre de aquí de Nayarit, Jala, Nayarit. Vamos a darle una vuelta a la escuela. Por esta escuela, señores, nos ha tocado escuchar muchas cosas en una cancha que está allá al fondo. Allá al fondo está una cancha. Ahí donde seguido escuchamos que el balón, pues más que nada, a esta hora, que andan jugando fútbol, básquetbol, y pues realmente pues no es nada, ¿verdad? Pronto estaremos adentro, ya que nos den chance a las autoridades para poder meternos, ¿verdad? ¿Qué le podemos decir, señores? Yo no quiero que me crean de lo que se vio, ¿verdad? Nosotros tomamos unas fotos a las escuelas y es lo que se vio en su momento. No es cámara profesional para que no empiecen a decir que no se ve nada, pero pues ahí les dejo este video para que ustedes mismos chequen, saquen sus conclusiones, vean qué puede ser. Pues así que aquí por afuera pues no se puede ver mucho, ¿verdad? Pero pronto andaremos por dentro. Este fue aquí el zaguán, ¿verdad? Ahí nos guachamos para la próxima, señores. Ahí estamos, pendientones. Y para los que no creen, pues nada más no crean, pero pues tampoco insulten, ¿verdad? Porque pues ninguna mordida le pedimos a las personitas esas. ¿Cómo crees que la vamos a andar pidiendo mordida? Saludos, señores.
His flashlight swept over the empty yard beyond, the silence almost suffocating. No movement, no sign of anyone inside. Wanting a better look, he circled part of the perimeter until he came to a section of wall with barred windows, large enough to peer through. He pressed his face close to the cold metal with his phone camera on the other side, but again, nothing happened. The officer filming explained to viewers that, as officers, they would eventually be allowed to enter the school officially, but not yet. For now, all they could do was watch from the outside, waiting for the chance to investigate what truly hides within the grounds of the school. Ian, better known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has spent countless nights exploring the eeriest places across the country, and this abandoned theater has already given him plenty of reasons to return.
I heard you loud and clear. It literally came from up here, and it echoed. Oh my God, that perfume smell is getting stronger up here. Hello? Oh, holy shit! Oh my God! Dude! I just fucking saw her right there! It looked like a woman in a dress. She walked into the hallway. I gotta follow her. She went down this way. Oh my God, every hair on my body is standing on end. Where'd you go? I saw you go this way. I feel like I heard her say Mabel. It sounded like an M. Now that I think about it, that voice from earlier, it sounded like Mabel. I'm smelling that perfume smell again. Holy shit! Holy shit! No freaking way! Look at that! That thing just came undone! I'm at a loss for words. She just peeked around at me from this curtain.
He slowly makes his way up the grand staircase. He mentions quietly that he just heard a voice echo above him, and as he climbs higher, he pauses, sniffing the air. There's a sudden, strong scent of perfume, completely out of place in such a decayed building. For a moment, nothing happened, but then a figure he described as a woman in what looked like a dress stepped into the hallway ahead, completely silent. Ian bolted forward, his voice rising as he asked where it went. He turned a corner, his light catching the theater's old dressing rooms, and just as he reached one, the curtain across the far wall pulled itself back with no one touching it. Ian froze in fear. Subscribe if you want to see what happens next, because Ian's not done with this haunted theater. The following video begins with the camera shaking slightly, the person behind it clearly nervous. A young woman is filming inside her bathroom after noticing something strange. The toilet paper roll swaying on its own, and the blinds shifting as if a breeze was pushing through, even though the window is closed.
I don't remember fucking opening that. What the fuck is that? Okay. Oh shit. What the fuck is that? What is that? Why? That's on the outside. What honestly is that? What honestly is that? I gotta use my... What the fuck is... It's on the outside! It's on the outside! I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm hard. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Once she starts to record, she moves closer, her breathing quick, whispering to herself as she reaches for the blinds to check behind them. There's nothing there, just an empty window. She turns the camera back toward the window, and that's when it happens. 3 distinct finger marks suddenly drag themselves across the surface, leaving behind white scratch-like streaks, as if something unseen had swiped at it. The sound is faint, but sharp, enough to make her jump back. She slams the blinds shut, muttering nervously before quickly walking out of the bathroom. The clip ends abruptly, the camera still trembling, and whatever made those marks remains completely unseen. Ellen had been home alone that night when the knocking started. At first, it was faint, but then it grew louder, more desperate, like someone begging to be let inside. The camera shakes slightly in his hands as he walks through the dimly lit hallway toward the front door, his voice trembling as he whispers that he's scared.
Pensé que ya lo había visto todo, pero... Oh my God. Pero... esto es lo que está sucediendo en estos momentos. Sonidos y gritos extraños. Y ahora la puerta. Como pueden ver, estoy completamente solo. No sé a qué me estoy enfrentando, pero tengo mucho miedo, mucho miedo. Vamos a ver qué es lo que podemos captar. No sé si ustedes logran ver algo o logran ver a ver qué o quién está haciendo estos ruidos, ese llanto. Son las 4:45 de la madrugada y no, nada más esto me faltaba. No manches.
The knocking continues in sharp bursts until he finally reaches for the lock and hesitantly opens the door. For a moment, there's only silence, and then soft crying can be heard from outside. The sound is faint but heart-wrenching, echoing through the empty street. Ellen freezes, then quickly shuts the door again, locking it tightly and backing away. He tries to calm his breathing as he walks off, clearly in a state of distress and nerves. But before he can reach his room, a low, eerie whistling begins from behind the door, slow and deliberate, as if whoever or whatever was out there knew he was listening. The clip cuts there, ending with Ellen running toward his room in pure panic. Sophie had been feeling uneasy all day after hearing strange noises in her room, the kind that made her question if someone else was there. To calm down, she stepped outside with a ball, kicking it gently across the yard while trying not to look back at the house. The camera follows her as she walks further away, her tone light but nervous. She must have been starting to feel better at least.
I'm like really paranoid right now. Ew, it smells weird in my mouth. Oh, that just went. Hello? Hell no. I'm out. I'm done. That's it. I'm out.
About a minute and 16 seconds into the recording, a faint whisper can be heard calling her name. The most frightening part is that it isn't just any voice, it's her own, perfectly matching her tone and pitch, but coming from behind her near the house. She freezes instantly, the ball rolling to a stop beside her foot. The whisper repeats, softer this time, almost teasing. Without hesitating, Sophie sprints back toward the house, the camera shaking wildly as she fumbles for the door. She rushes inside, slams it shut, and locks it, her breathing heavy. Who knows if she truly escaped whatever this was that night, but what we do know is she is too frightened to inform her parents. Late one night, Wyatt was sitting on his bed when his dog suddenly started barking toward the window. At first, he thought it was just another animal outside, but the dog's behavior quickly turned strange. It wasn't looking out the window. It was staring just beside it, inside the room.
It has been freaking me out for about 15 minutes. I know, dude. What's going on? What are you seeing? Something's been spooking him. He's jumping around. This dude. What are you seeing? Why don't you back up? Charlie. I know. Calm down. It's okay. What are you seeing? You're freaking me out, buddy. Do we need to go? Should we go, Bubba? You tell me when it's time to go. Because I don't know what you're looking at, but when we need to go, you let me know, buddy. What's freaking you out, bub? Okay. Should we go? Yeah? You leave when we gotta go. As soon as you walk out, I'll be right behind you.
Wyatt aimed the camera in that direction, but nothing could be seen. The dog, however, wouldn't stop growling, its fur raised and tail tucked low, letting out uneasy whines between low rumbles. Wyatt tried to calm it, gently saying it was okay, but the dog's focus stayed fixed on something above eye level, as if whatever it saw was tall and standing against the wall. The tension builds until Wyatt nervously asks his dog if it wants to go. That's when it happens. A faint, unmistakable male voice answers softly from the direction of the window. It says, yes, but in a tone that's quiet and almost playful. Wyatt doesn't actually realize the ghost replies, whilst the dog slowly backs away, still growling at the empty space. The clip ends there, leaving the voice unexplained. A woman had started filming after hearing footsteps echoing faintly through her house late at night. Her voice is quiet, unsure, as she moves from room to room, trying to figure out where the sounds are coming from. She eventually stops outside the bathroom with an evident suspicion that it may be involved with the haunting. The air feels heavy, and for a few seconds, everything goes still. She steps inside the bathroom, looking around with the camera pointed toward the mirror and shower, but nothing seems out of place. Then, just as she's about to turn the camera off, something subtle happens. Exactly 1 minute into the video, a clear shadow passed across the railings of the stairs ahead of her, and it was moving smoothly as if someone had just walked by. The woman didn't notice it at the moment, but when she reviewed the footage later, that shadow confirmed what she'd feared all along. She hadn't been alone in the house that night. Misty had decided to post a follow-up video after her previous paranormal clip gained a lot of attention. In this one, she slowed the footage down to show what really happened. It was from her baby cam facing the crib where her youngest was sleeping, while her older son's bunk bed was left vacant due to him being at football practice.
Hey y'all, I see all of your comments coming through. I had no idea that this video was going to blow up like it did, so I have not been able to respond to everybody. A lot of you had said that the video was too fast for you to see anything, so I'll include it on here with it slowed down. I still have no idea what happened or what that was. I left the house today. My son had a football game and my mother-in-law was here. She lost internet for like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. That was really the only weird thing that happened while I was gone for her. And that's all I have. It was a 4-second video. As soon as I saw that object appear on the top of the bunk bed, I just threw my phone and camera and I just went running up there. So I just really didn't get much longer of a video than that. I will see how tonight goes and see what we need to do further, if it's nothing or if it ends up being something. So have a good night.
For a few seconds, everything looks peaceful until a strange shadow-like object suddenly pops out from the side of the bunk. It moves quickly, almost like it's crawling or leaning forward, before vanishing just as fast as it appeared. Misty immediately ran upstairs when she first saw it live, convinced something was in the room, but when she got there, nothing was out of place. No one else was upstairs, and her baby was sound asleep. Thankfully, the baby was completely fine, but the slowed down footage made it impossible to ignore that something unexplainable had definitely appeared beside the crib. After the slowed down footage went viral, a lot of people in the comments wanted to know more about the room itself, so Misty decided to vlog the entire space to clear things up. She started by explaining that the baby had been moved into this room recently from what was now her home office. From the start of the video, she admits she always feels uneasy there, saying it's hard to even breathe when she walks inside. Take a look at what happens when she plucks up the courage to enter though.
Okay, a lot of y'all were asking about the room situation, so I'm gonna run that through real quick. We moved my daughter from this room into this room. She got new furniture. That's why the bunk bed is still in there. Then we moved the baby from my office, which used to be her bedroom, now it's my office again, up into this room. So this is the attic that's in between the rooms that I was talking about that's cracked. It's been that way for a while, so it's not something that I'm overly concerned about, but y'all have got me freaking out in the comments. I cannot even breathe walking in this room, so I am truly terrified, but I'm gonna walk y'all in here real quick. This is the bunk bed. This is where I took her out of her crib, ran up the bunk bed. There was nothing up there when I came. We have her rocking chair, her changing station, her closet with all of the stuff that we still need to put up. This is where I have everything that was gifted. I know a lot of y'all were saying check stuff that came from a thrift store or that wasn't yours because it might be causing it. I will show you guys up here. There's nothing suspicious. There's no hair from like a rat or something that could have came in. This is marker. These are still tucked in on the sides, like they're still tight from, you know, if somebody was trying to be underneath the blankets. I don't think that's plausible, so I don't know. I have no idea what could be causing it. Oh my God, it's rocking.
She turns the light on and shows that nothing seems unusual at first. The crib sits quietly in the corner, and she points up to the top bunk to prove there's nothing up there either. Everything appears normal, but as she's talking, something subtle shifts in the background. The small chair next to the bed begins to rock gently on its own. Misty freezes, the camera shaking slightly as she realizes what's happening. The chair keeps moving, slow but deliberate, as if someone invisible had just stood up from it. The clip cuts off as she lets out a loud scream and starts her escape from the room, ending the video abruptly. In the next video, Misty is sitting in the living room doing her daughter's hair, trying to get back to normal after everything that had happened. She's chatting softly to her, laughing here and there, and for the first few seconds, everything feels calm.
Mom.
How'd you sleep last night?
Good, but Avery woke up a lot last night.
Oh, you slept with me. How would you have heard her wake up? She slept all night.
There was music playing from her room. You guys were like laughing.
Are you sure you weren't dreaming?
I don't think I was dreaming. I got like no sleep.
Sorry, baby.
Oh, it's Brandon. Hi, Brandon.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
You already awake?
Yeah.
How was your night?
Sissy said that Avery kept her up all night because she said she heard her like laughing and playing and music going in her room.
Didn't you have her in the room last night, her room?
Yeah, I had Avery last night.
Yeah, you have some take dreams or?
That's what I said.
I'm just gonna call, make sure you're awake and getting ready. I love you, I'll call you later, okay?
Love you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Then, around 11 seconds in, a faint voice can be heard over the background noise. It's quiet, but clear enough to make out. It says, "Hey." Misty doesn't seem to notice it right away, but viewers caught it instantly and flooded the comments asking who else was in the room. She later confirmed that it was just her and her daughter home at the time. No one else had been in the house, and the voice hadn't come from the TV or her phone. After hearing it back herself, Misty admitted she's now looking into how to sell the house altogether, saying she can't shake the feeling that whatever was in there isn't finished with them yet. CCTV footage inside a quiet home recently captured something strange that left both the owners and viewers online disturbed. It starts off innocently enough, with the family dog wandering out of a room in the middle of the day. Just as the dog passes through the doorway, the gate-style doors begin to close on their own, slowly narrowing the frame. Nobody else is seen in the footage, no drafts are evident, and the dog immediately stops in its tracks, as if it senses something unnatural. The odd behavior of the animal paired with the unexplained movement of the gate left many unsettled. What makes this clip even stranger is that the owners claim this wasn't the first time their dog had acted unusual near that exact doorway. They said he often barked at it late at night or refused to cross it unless coaxed, something they had previously chalked up to pet anxiety. But after reviewing this footage, they aren't so sure anymore. Some viewers suggested the dog was reacting to a presence unseen by humans, while others speculated it could be tied to the home's history. Either way, the uneasy reaction of the dog makes the unexplained movement of the doors feel less like a coincidence and more like a sign of something lurking in the house. CCTV footage from the same home continued to raise alarm only a few nights later. This time, the family's dog was resting inside its cage, which was considered its safe spot where it usually felt most comfortable.
Hey, just want to hop on here and explain some things about the ghost and my dog. So my dog is crate trained from his previous owner. That's his safe spot. That's where he goes when it's chaos in the house with all the children, or we have company that he doesn't like. He just goes in there and chills. So that's why he sleeps in his crate. It's his safe spot. Anyway, so what you didn't see in this video is after these slight movements of the door handle, he gets up, he's wagging his tail, he is ready to go. He only starts whimpering when it doesn't open for him. So I come out, make him go potty, and you would not know anything was wrong with him. He is ready to go back in that crate. He fell asleep. I checked the camera. That night, there have been a few other things happening in the house. If you look at my older videos, and he is super chill in like the door video. And as far as the kitchen video, we have had so many things get pushed off of that countertop, and he gobbles it up. He gobbles it up. He is there waiting for it to fall. And so I think him and the ghost are like BFFs for life, or afterlife. Just had to put that dad joke in there. Sorry. Anyway, he's fine.
At first, everything appeared normal until the handle of the cage suddenly twitched, making the dog sit up straight and fix its gaze on the movement. For a moment, nothing else happened, but then the handle shifted again, this time pushing itself back down. The dog stayed frozen, ears perked and body tense, clearly aware something wasn't right. As the clip goes on, the crate door handle keeps moving in small but deliberate motions, as if someone unseen were tampering with it. Many viewers began speculating that this could be tied to a past owner, possibly one who had passed away, returning in some unsettling way to interact with the animal. Claymore had grown used to the uneasy feeling of being alone in his house late at night, but the basement always carried a different kind of weight. It was a place he avoided unless necessary, filled with old boxes, pipes, and shadows that seemed to stretch longer than they should. At 4:53 in the morning, he found himself wide awake when the sound of heavy knocks echoed from the basement door. This wasn't the first time he'd heard it, but on this particular night, he decided to capture the proof.
Alright, so that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning, and I just started hearing that. I have no idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
As he held his camera, the banging grew more distinct, and it was very hard to miss. What made it worse was his certainty that nobody else was in the house. Claymore admitted later into the clip, that the sounds had happened before, often in the dead of night when silence made every echo worse. Whether it was coincidence, pipes, or something paranormal trying to reach out, he couldn't shake the dread of knowing the basement seemed to be alive with its own intentions. The next day, Claymore was working late at his PC when the familiar sound returned. The basement door began to knock again, steady and deliberate, pulling his attention away from the glow of his monitor. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the noise persisted until he finally stood, grabbing his camera as proof.
Alright, you guys are in luck. You wanted it, right? There it is. Ain't me knocking on shit. Ain't nobody down here, right? Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, it's somebody in there, it's an animal. Nope. Let's go. So who's down here? Nobody. Nobody down here? Nobody downstairs? I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, it's somebody. Ain't f***ing. We hear that shit every single night.
He walked slowly toward the door, his steps hesitant. With one hand, he pulled it open, flicked on the light, and revealed the stairs leading to the basement. Heart pounding, he began his descent, his camera catching every creak of the steps as he scanned the space below. The basement was silent. Nothing out of place, no sign of movement or presence. After pacing around and confirming nobody was hiding, he turned back and walked up the stairs, shutting the door behind him. The unease lingered, though, and the sense that something had wanted him down there, but disappeared the moment he arrived. After this, he thought the ordeal was over, but only a short while later, the noises returned. This time, the sound wasn't coming from the basement door, but from the bathroom wall. It started as faint thuds and quickly turned into aggressive knocking that seemed to echo through the small space.
Alright, so I was hearing that knocking again, right? Except this time it's coming from that wall right there, which is my downstairs bathroom. And after a while I started hearing tapping on the bathroom door as well. So, what else? Record. See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are gonna be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this mother. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
He turned his camera toward the bathroom, and through the small crack of the door, the light inside could be seen flicking on and off, almost as if someone was toying with the switch from within. Gathering what courage he had left, he got up, pushed the door open, and stepped inside with the camera. The bathroom was completely empty. Nothing out of place, no reason for the sounds or the lights to behave that way. Shaken to his core, he's now seriously considering moving out, knowing his sense of safety has been completely taken from the home.